Our main market is fresh fractures. This is where we want to go eventually.
Right.
When you talk about fresh fractures, you have something like 180 million fractures worldwide every year. Let's say, just for the convenience of a calculation, if the device price will be $500, we're talking about a $90 billion market. So this is if everyone in the world that has a fracture buys a device. So
Right.
This is the TAM.
Less realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But more realistically, if we talk about, for example, countries in the OECD with GDP per capita of over $32,000, you have 25 million fractures there. So we're talking about a market size of $12.5 billion. And this is only the fresh fractures. When you talk about non-union fractures, the prevalence of non-union fractures is between 5 to 10%, let's say 7%. You're talking about, if you're talking about the OECD countries, it's almost 2 million fractures a year. Naturally, the cost of bone growth stimulation devices for non-union fractures and spinal fusion is much higher. As I said, in the US, there are reimbursement codes, and the fees are something like $4,700 per device. So it's a huge market. So also in the non-union and spinal fusion, you have an additional, besides the fresh fractures, you have an additional huge market. On the way to fresh fractures, we're going to first focus on the US market for the indications of non-unions, later spinal fusion, and later expand indication to fresh fractures.
Right, you want to take advantage of the available reimbursement codes.
Yes, there are actual sales. Globally, the actual sales of bone growth stimulation devices is about $800 million. In the United States, it's $500 million a year. So these are actual sales. You don't have to convince anyone to buy it. These are doctors that already prescribe these devices. The only thing we need to do is give them a better device. So we assume, and from the feedbacks that we get from doctors and users and patients, we assume that most doctors will prefer to prescribe something like this than a big cumbersome device.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And put fresh fractures aside, you think you would be able to enlarge the market segment of non-union fractures with your device?
Yes, one of the things that limit the use of bone growth stimulation devices is the data. So most of the data for bone growth stimulation devices is relatively old. So the market leader has data from, I think, the 90s. I think that a new company that comes into the market with the fresh trial, with the current gold standards of research and non-union research, and brings fresh and solid FDA-approved results, will have a big impact on additional users, additional doctors to start using this technology.
Because some of the patients nowadays go directly to surgery. They
Yes, many patients going to surgery. Some patients that don't want to go under surgery, or some patients that can't have a surgery. And there are a lot of patients that can't have surgery, use bone growth stimulation devices. In addition, I can tell you that there are many doctors that think that the compliance issues with the patient compliance when using bone growth stimulation devices, it's a big issue. So doctors see that in some cases it doesn't work because patients don't want to wear it. It's not comfortable. So we think we can bring a new message to the world of bone growth stimulation in non-union spinal fusion, but most importantly with fresh fractures.